There are certain decisions a soul makes only once in a lifetime, not the small ones, not the choice between this city or that job, not the selection of a car color or the signing of a lease. I am talking about the seismic, tectonic, irreversible choices that split a life into a before and an after. The kind of decision that is made not in the head, not even in the heart, but in the deep, ancient marrow of the being, where language has not yet formed and instinct is the only law. And Virgo, someone younger than you, has already made that decision. They have already crossed that threshold. They have already looked at the rest of their life, measured it against every possible future, and concluded that the only version worth living is the one where you are standing beside them at the altar. Not beside them on a Friday night, not beside them for a season of fun or exploration or youthful experimentation, beside them in a vow, in a covenant, in the legally bound, spiritually sealed, socially witnessed contract of marriage. They want you as their future spouse, not eventually, not hypothetically. They are already building the mental architecture of that reality, laying the foundation brick by invisible brick, and the name on the blueprint is yours. You need to understand the violence of this certainty, Virgo. The world has told this younger soul that they are too young to know what they want, that their brain is not finished developing, that they need to sample the buffet of life before selecting a single dish, that commitment is a cage to be feared, not a garden to be cultivated. Their friends are living in the era of undefined situationships, of commitment phobia worn as a badge of sophistication, of dating apps that turn human beings into disposable thumbnails to be swiped away at the first inconvenience. And this person, this younger person who moves through that world by necessity of their birth year, has quietly, completely, irrevocably exited that paradigm. They have looked at the buffet and pushed the entire table away. They are not interested in sampling. They have already tasted what they want. It is you. And the hunger has only grown more precise. Their certainty is terrifying to everyone around them. You need to know this because it proves how real it is. Their friends laugh at first, assuming it is a joke. Their family recoils, calculating the age difference, muttering about lost youth and missed opportunities. Their mentors warn them about the statistics, the odds, the foolishness of choosing permanence before they have even understood the full map of their own becoming. And this younger soul listens to all of it with a patience that is eerie. They nod, they smile, they do not argue because they know something that no one else in the room knows. They have seen the future, not as a fantasy, not as a daydream, as a vision so clear, so recurring, so undeniably real that it has replaced their fear of commitment with a fear far greater, the fear of living a life where that vision does not come true. And Virgo, here is where this message splits open and reveals what you were never expecting. You are assuming that they want to marry you for the usual reasons. You are assuming it is because you are stable or accomplished or physically attractive or because you represent a safe harbor in their chaotic young life. You are bracing yourself for the possibility that they see you as a finishing school, a maternal or paternal figure, a shortcut to adulthood that they have not earned. You are preparing your defenses against the idea that you are a fantasy of security, a projection of their unhealed childhood needs, a placeholder for the parent they wish had been more present. And if that were the case, you would be right to resist. You would be right to close the door. But that is not the case. That is not even close. The reason they want you as their spouse is something you cannot guess. It is something that has never appeared in any message I have channeled before. This younger person wants to marry you because you are the only proof they have ever encountered that reality itself is trustworthy. Let that sink into your bones, Virgo. Let it find the place where your skepticism lives, and let it challenge that skepticism to a duel. This younger soul did not grow up in a world where words matched actions. They grew up in an environment where love was performed but not practiced, where promises were decorative, like wallpaper that looked beautiful but offered no structural support, where the adults around them spoke of loyalty while practicing betrayal, spoke of family while maintaining secrets, spoke of forever while calculating exits. They learned early that the surface of things is designed to deceive, that smiles can mask contempt, that affection can be currency, that the phrase "I love you" can be deployed as a tactical maneuver rather than a statement of fact. They became by necessity a master of reading subtext, a connoisseur of micro expressions, a survivalist in an emotional landscape where nothing was what it seemed. And then they met you. The first time they witnessed you in a moment of stress, Virgo, something cracked inside them. Not their heart, something deeper, their worldview. They watched you tell the truth when a lie would have been easier. They watched you keep your word when breaking it would have been convenient. They watched you show up exactly as you had promised, without fanfare, without reminder, without needing to be managed or chased or cajoled. And in that moment, they experienced something they had never felt before. Not attraction, not admiration, something closer to vertigo. The ground beneath their feet, which had always been shifting sand, suddenly felt like stone. You were solid. You were real. You were the first person in their entire existence who did not require them to decode hidden meanings or brace for sudden reversals. And that experience, Virgo, that single encounter with your integrity became the most addictive substance they have ever known. They did not want to date you. They wanted to live inside your reality. They wanted to build a life where the walls were made of your consistency, where the roof was made of your standards, where the floor was made of the truth you could not help but speak, even when it cost you. They realized with a clarity that arrived like a lightning bolt in a darkened room that every other romantic possibility in their life represented a continuation of the chaos they had survived. Every person their own age, every peer, every suitable match that society would approve of, every option that made logical sense on paper, all of them existed in the same unstable frequency as their childhood. But you, Virgo, you were a different frequency entirely. You were the proof that another way of living was possible, that a person could be kind without being weak, that a person could be strong without being cruel, that a person could love without performing. And so the decision was made, not in a moment of passion, not under the influence of infatuation, but in a moment of profound, almost spiritual relief. They decided to marry you the way a drowning person decides to swim toward shore, not because shore is pretty, but because it is the only thing that guarantees survival. I am seeing their private rituals, Virgo, the things they do when no one is watching. They have a notebook or a digital folder or a secret board where they collect fragments of your future together, not wedding magazines, not Pinterest fantasies, practical things. The city where you would both thrive, the kind of home that would support your work, the schedule that would honor your need for for solitude and their need for growth. They have researched things that make no sense for someone their age to research: retirement plans, school districts, the ergonomics of a kitchen designed for two people who cook together. They have imagined your mornings, the way the light would hit your face across a breakfast table they have not yet purchased, the way your hands would look holding a child they have not yet conceived. These are not the fantasies of a child playing house. These are the architectural plans of a soul that has found its correct address. Their family does not understand. Their friends think they have lost their mind. But there is one person, perhaps an elder, perhaps a figure from their past, who also knew the instability they survived, who looks at them with recognition when they speak of you. This person sees the change in them, the settling, the focusing, the sudden, inexplicable maturation that has occurred not through time but through proximity to your memory. And this elder, this witness, has given them a quiet blessing, a nod that says, when you know, because some people recognize truth when they see it, even if the packaging confounds convention. Virgo, I need to tell you about the dreams, because this is the part that will raise the hair on your arms. This younger person is having dreams that are not dreams. They are visitations. They are rehearsals. They are memories of a future that is so determined to exist that it is leaking backward into their sleep. They dream of your wedding, but not the wedding of fantasy. They dream of the moment after the guests leave, of the quiet conversation in a car on the way home, of the ordinary Tuesday 3 years from now when you are both exhausted and laughing about something no one else would find funny. They dream of your aging, of the silver in your hair, of the way your hands will look when they are older. And instead of recoiling from the image of time passing, they are drawn to it. They crave it. They want the privilege of witnessing your evolution across decades. They want to be the person who knows how your coffee preference changes with the seasons, who knows which side of the bed is yours without discussion, who knows your medical history and your childhood fears, and the names of every person who ever hurt you. They want the encyclopedia of you, and they are willing to spend a lifetime writing it. This is not obsession, Virgo. I need you to hear the distinction because your mind will try to categorize it as such. Obsession wants to consume. Obsession wants to possess. Obsession wants to fill a void with another person. This is different. This is recognition. This is the soul's immune system identifying the one presence that will not make it sick. This younger person does not want to own you. They want to belong to the life that you build. They want to be your teammate, your partner, your co-conspirator in the quiet revolution of a functional, honest, deeply rooted existence. They are not looking for a parent. They are looking for a peer who will teach them, by example, how to become the kind of adult they never had modeled for them. And here is what they are willing to do, Virgo. Here is the measure of their seriousness. They are already making sacrifices that no one their age should have to make. They are walking away from opportunities that would take them far from your orbit, not because you have asked nothing, but because they have done the math, and the math is simple. Any future that does not include you is a future they are not willing to fund with their time. They are turning down the job across the country. They are declining the extended trip abroad. They are distancing themselves from the social circles that would distract them from their purpose. They are saving money with a discipline that shocks their peers. They are studying subjects, reading books, developing skills that have no immediate relevance to their current life, but that they know will be necessary for the life they are building with you. They are preparing themselves to be your equal, not your dependent, not your project, your partner. I am seeing the specific moment of their approach, Virgo. It is coming sooner than you think, and it will not look like a proposal. Not yet. They are not foolish enough to believe that a ring at this stage would be appropriate or well received. They know you. They know your caution. They know your analytical mind and your need for evidence over promises. So they are going to come to you with something far more devastating than a diamond. They are going to come to you with a plan, a document, literal or metaphorical, that outlines what they have seen, what they know, and what they are willing to do to become the person who deserves to stand beside you. They are going to tell you about the dreams. They are going to tell you about the visions. They are going to expose the full machinery of their certainty and let you inspect it. And then they are going to ask you not for a yes, not for a commitment, but for a chance, a window of time in which they can demonstrate through consistent action, through visible growth, through the kind of presence that does not waver, that they are serious. And Virgo, your entire body is going to want to say no. Your defenses are going to flare. Your mind is going to generate 1,000 reasons why this is unwise. The age gap, the difference in life experience, the fear that they will change their minds, the fear that you are being seen as a destination rather than a person, the fear that their certainty is a phase, a projection, a beautiful mistake that will evaporate under the pressure of real life. All of these fears are valid. All of them deserve your attention. But I am here to tell you that there is a difference between caution and denial. Caution inspects the foundation before building. Denial burns the blueprint because the architect is younger than expected. You need to inspect this foundation, Virgo, because it is real, it is load-bearing, it has been poured in the secret hours of their becoming, and it is stronger than anything you have encountered in people twice their age. The reason you will not expect, the reason that defies every assumption you hold about younger souls and their fickleness is this. They are not choosing you despite your differences. They are choosing you because of the one thing you share that transcends every other variable. You both know at the cellular level that most of what passes for connection in this world is counterfeit. And you both refuse to settle for counterfeit. The only difference is that you learned this through endurance. They learned it through inheritance. And now, two souls who refuse the fake have found each other across the illusion of time, and the younger one has the wisdom to recognize what the older one is too cautious to claim. I am seeing their preparation in the physical realm, Virgo. They have spoken of you to the people who matter, not as a crush, not as a fling, as their intended, their future spouse. The words sound foreign in their mouth, even to them, but they speak them with a gravity that silences mockery. They have already begun the slow work of educating their family about who you are. They have already defended you against the assumptions that will come. They have already decided that if their circle cannot accept their choice, they will build a new circle. This is not the flexibility of youth. This is the inflexibility of someone who has found their North Star and will not be steered off course by the opinions of people who have never had to navigate by truth alone. They have also been watching you, Virgo, not in the way of a stalker, in the way of an architect studying the land before breaking ground. They have noted your rhythms, the way you need silence after a social event, the way you organize your space, the way you speak to service workers, to animals, to children, the way your face changes when you talk about the things that matter to you. They have been cataloging these details not as ammunition but as sacred text. They believe that loving you is a craft and they are apprenticing themselves to it with a dedication that would humble a monk. They are learning your love language not from a book, but from observation. They are learning your boundaries not by testing them, but by honoring the ones they have already seen. They are becoming a student of your specific, irreplaceable, non-transferable being. And the unprecedented element of this message, the thing that separates it from every other romantic prediction I have ever delivered, is this. They are not asking you to believe in their potential. They are asking you to believe in their present. They are not saying, wait for me to grow up. They are saying, look at who I am right now. Look at the decisions I am already making. Look at the life I am already building, with or without your participation, and ask yourself if that life is not exactly the kind of foundation you have been searching for. They are not promising to become someone worthy of you someday. They are demonstrating through every choice they make in the hidden hours of their life that they are already worthy. That worthiness is not an age, it is a frequency, and they are vibrating at yours. Virgo, I want to speak to the part of you that is lonely, the part that does not admit its loneliness because your competence makes it seem unnecessary, the part that has built such an efficient, organized, self-sufficient life that there is no obvious crack for love to enter. The part that has told itself that marriage is for other people, that your standards are too high, that your need for order is incompatible with partnership, that your age or your history or your independence has placed you beyond the reach of someone who would truly choose you. That part of you is about to be confronted with evidence that it was wrong. Not through a grand romantic gesture, not through a dramatic chase, but through the quiet, relentless, undeniable presence of someone who has already decided that you are their home. The question is not whether they are serious. The question is whether you are brave enough to believe that someone could be serious about you without making you work for it, without making you prove your worth, without making you audition for a role you have already earned simply by being exactly who you are. This younger soul sees your worth without the test. They see it in your silence. They see it in your standards. They see it in the way you refuse to perform, and they want to marry that. They want to build a kingdom where that is the law of the land. You will try to protect them from yourself, Virgo. You will tell yourself that you are too much, too critical, too set in your ways, too demanding, that your need for order will suffocate their youth, that your analytical mind will drain their spontaneity, that your standards will feel like walls, and they will listen to these warnings with the same patience they show everyone else. And then they will tell you that your order is the only thing that has ever made them feel safe, that your analysis is the only thing that has ever helped them understand themselves, that your standards are not walls, but the architecture of a life they desperately want to inhabit. They will tell you that your too much is exactly the right amount, and they will mean it. I am seeing the timeline with precision now. Within a window that will feel sudden to you, but that they have been preparing for months, they are going to present themselves to you, not as a suitor, not as a fan, as a candidate, as someone who has done the work, who has made the decision, who has built the foundation, and who is now asking for the only thing they cannot provide themselves, your partnership. They are going to be calm. They are going to be clear. They are going to be younger than you expected and more prepared than anyone you have ever met. And the dissonance between those two facts is going to short circuit your logic. Do not let it short circuit your knowing, Virgo. Your intuition has always been your most reliable instrument, and your intuition has already registered this person. It has already felt the weight of their focus. It has already noticed the way the air changes when they enter a room. It has already picked up on the frequency of their intent. Your mind is the one that is fighting. Your mind is the one citing age and convention and probability. But your intuition, that ancient, wordless, unfailing part of you, already knows. It knows that souls do not arrive in chronological order. It knows that readiness is not a number. It knows that the universe does not check identification before delivering destiny. They want you as their future spouse, Virgo, not because you are perfect, not because you are convenient, not because you are a fantasy, but because you are the only real thing they have ever found in a lifetime of illusions, and they have decided with a finality that would shake mountains that real is the only thing they are willing to build a life around. The blueprint is drawn, the foundation is set, the architect is waiting, and the only question left is whether you are willing to step inside the structure they have built in your honor and recognize it as the home you have been trying to build alone. Do not let the date on their birth certificate blind you to the age of their soul. Do not let the noise of convention drown out the sound of their certainty. And do not let your fear of being chosen by someone younger than expected prevent you from being chosen by someone who sees you more clearly than anyone ever has. The future they are offering is not a fantasy, it is a construction site, and they are already there, hard hat on, sleeves rolled, building the walls that will hold the life you both deserve. The only thing missing is your signature on the permit, your yes to the foundation, your willingness to believe that forever can wear a younger face than you imagined and still carry the weight of eternity with perfect posture. Walk toward it, Virgo, or stand still and watch it be built around you regardless, but do not pretend you do not see the scaffolding rising. Do not pretend you do not hear the hammer. And do not pretend that your heart has not already measured the space where the front door will go. The threshold is waiting. Cross it when you are ready. But know this, they will still be there when you arrive. They have already decided. And decisions like theirs do not expire.